Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C., all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Super excited to have another amazing guest here on our show. We actually just met a couple weeks ago through Messenger because of an amazing event that we have going on in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, June 1st. 2024, just 8 days away. Super excited. Let me just pull up the flyer real quick. Those are our keynote speakers. It's the Warrior Women BALM Global Conference, and we have just an amazing group of heart centered entrepreneurs, leaders, community members that will be in this space. And what's even more greater is that we actually have teens. Yes, we have some of our attendees bringing either their niece, their granddaughter, their cousin, all because they believe in the mission that we are going to share June 1st, again in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. If you have not gotten your ticket yet, definitely go to www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com /events and you can check us out. If you have any questions, you can reach myself or Desiree Cruz in reference to what you should expect at this event and how you can support as well. Let's go really quick into some into highlighting our sponsors. Thank you so much, Jose Escobar with the Connected Leaders Academy, Patrick Rude with the Dirty Little Secret Society, as well as Julie and Noah with Breathe Capital Planning. Thank you for continuing to support the mission of BALM Global and the great things that we are doing for our communities. So, without further ado, I'm excited to introduce to you Lori Murphy. She is an empowerment coach for women. Through her own personal journey, it has been her calling and passion to guide women in building self confidence, finding self love, and realizing their worth. She enjoys she enjoys connecting with women and walking them through their fears, overcoming struggles with anxiety, depression, and even trauma. She's been a guide in their health and wellness journey and their transformation. It is her mission to empower women to discover their truth and live their fullest potential. We are on the same wavelength. That's why we connected so quickly just with the women that are coming into this room. And without further ado, let's get our guest on here. Lori, let's add you to the stage. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Good, good. Welcome, welcome this bright and early morning on a Friday. We're super excited to have you. Um,
Hmm.
you're gearing up for a weekend to come. Uh, how are you feeling, just really quickly?
Oh, about being a speaker at the event, I am excited. I am very excited. I have always wanted to get into public speaking. It's been a passion and a dream of mine for quite some time. So to be able to, this will be my first actual public speaking event in a platform like this. So I'm very, very excited. Little nervous, but very excited.
Awesome. Well, we'll get into some more of that a little later on. Thank you so much for saying yes to you and to all the attendees that's going to be in this room because I know that the impact is going to be beyond what our expectations are, right? We always set these
Right.
high expectations and then we're just like blown away. So I'm just so excited to have you in the room to hear your story. But tell us just a little bit about your backstory, your upbringing. Where do you come from? Where are you tuning in? And how did uh, growing up, how did you mold to who you are today?
So, I am actually calling in from a little town called Green Island in upstate New York. We're about 15 minutes outside of Albany. I grew up 10 minutes away from here, so I essentially have lived in this area my whole life for the last 41 years. and I went to a small school, and I grew up in a family of six. I'm number three of four kids. I have two sisters and a brother that I just love dearly. So basically, Um, we grew up as any normal family would, and eventually my parents' marriage started to fall apart, and that was kind of where a lot of things started to happen for me. As far as one minute I have this happy family life, and this is just my perspective from a child, and then all of a sudden it felt like my whole world got flipped upside down. um, my older siblings, my older brother and older sister went to the Navy, or went to the military. My brother did 4 years in the Navy. My sister did 20 years active duty in the Army. Um, but they left, and I was with my younger sister and that was, my parents. Um, their divorce became, they filed for divorce after it was about 4 years of struggle. There was a lot of dysfunction. There was a lot of um, painful things that we observed and we all experienced. And I would say that that led to a lot of feeling lost for me, on top of never really feeling like I fit in, and never really feeling like I knew who I was. Even as a small child, I was convinced for the longest time that I was adopted because I'm not like any of these people, right? Like, and I had no friends. Like, I felt very alone. And then, so when my parents' marriage fell apart and my older siblings, they went away, I felt as though that I was even more alone. Um, by the time I was 16 years old, I was sexually assaulted by two guys, and that just led up to a whole world of fear, loneliness, and you know, I fell into the trap of substance abuse, alcoholism. My grades started to slip away, and I just went into this state of a severe depression. And I had a very small will to live, enough to keep me here, but there was this part of me that just, didn't feel like anybody would care if I was here or not, and the world would probably be better off without me. And it was dark, and it was a lonely time. Eventually, I got into, as I got older, I started to try to make better choices. I realized I was going down a very dark path, and I started to try to improve my life. I met somebody who I ended up being in a relationship with for 8 years. He was a very nice guy, but we've had our issues, and but my issues, and I will take ownership for my part, is that I just continued to really fall into that dark path. Um, as much as I tried to make better choices and make a better life for myself, I still was battling my own demons. And I was still trying to figure out who I was. And in that process, trying to be everything for him, right? Everything he wanted me to be. Because I loved him so much that I needed him to love me back, because I didn't see my worth. And I didn't feel that I was worthy if I wasn't loved by him. So what I would do is I basically started to go down this other path of trying to be everything that I didn't know at the time I wasn't, and eventually lost my way even further. And then, even though I had a period of abstinence from alcohol, I ended up getting back, picking back up the drink, and it just took its course. And I went full blown into my alcoholism. And that went from probably when I was about 23 until I was 29. And in that time frame, I completely destroyed the career I was working toward. I lost relationships. I lost that relationship. I walked away from it. People stopped wanting to be around me. And more, I just felt as though that I really had lost my will to live at that point. And I was just slowly dying. There was so much fear inside me. And that was really what it boiled down to. And it wasn't until I had gotten sober that I really looked at myself and saw that I was terrified. I was terrified of living. I was terrified of other people. I was terrified of, you name it, I was afraid of it. And even though I tried to put on this exterior that I was this happy go lucky person, most people would not have known that I felt like I was dying and wanted to die and that I was in this dark, dark place. Um, so at 29 years old, I started my journey in sobriety after multiple um, rock bottoms. Um, and I finally made this decision to just change my life because I couldn't do what I was doing anymore. So
Wow.
my so basically what I can say is that my journey in sobriety was really what led me down this path of healing, self-discovery, transformation. I really looked at the things that I had suppressed for so many years, from these issues from growing up in my parents' divorce and the sexual assault and the other things that occurred in my life after that that were traumatic and painful. I finally stopped and looked at all of that. And I found a way to overcome my fear. And essentially, it was taking small steps to show that I didn't have to be afraid anymore. And
Mm.
it's a beautiful journey. It really truly is, and it led me to my calling, my passion, and what sets my soul on fire, and that's to help other people. I have known for a long time that I have been meant to help other people, that my mess is my message, that my story can help somebody else. Because the way I see it is
Absolutely.
I can overcome what I've experienced, my pain, my fear, my trauma, if I could overcome all of those things and find a place of self love, self worth, and confidence, and to become fearless rather than fearful, other people can do it too. And I want to be able to help them with that. And when I
Wow.
heard my calling, I went with it. I went with it. And, I'm at this point in my life now that I don't let anything stand in my way. And when those limited beliefs or that imposter syndrome and that fear tries to creep in to knock me down, I have found a way that works for me to be able to work through it, push through it, and keep moving. Because I believe
Absolutely.
that God has put me on this journey for a reason, and that I my mission is to make sure that my story is heard for those that are going through it and know they're not alone, and let them know that I'm here to be there to help them through it.
What a powerful, powerful story. And thank you for being open and vulnerable and sharing your journey. Sometimes we don't go into that much of detail when we're really speaking on these platforms because of, different judgment or, for whatever reason, people just kind of hold their story back. But this is real. This is raw. This is what you went through. So I just want to congratulate you on going through that journey, but in each time, right, in each season of that, just realizing that something has to change. Even though that you were toggling with it back and forth on the different seasons, you eventually still strive to create the new Lori Murphy, right? The new Lori that was going to take her mess and turn it into her message and impact lives. So I just want to thank you so much for that. And then there's something that you said that reminded me of a post that I literally just placed today on my social platform. And it was just a picture of me. And it said, "Don't let fear stop you from your destiny." And it's so true. We go through these times in our lives where we're battling ourselves,
Right.
right? And we're creating, especially with the stuff that happened to us, right? So at what point, and I know you said you finally kicked it, right? Your sobriety, you finally wrapped your heart around that, and you said, I am going to do this, and I am going to help women who have been through this, and guide them and hold their hand, because that's all we needed.
Right.
If we had that person in our lives, those mentors, those coaches, that friends that's not joining you but telling you, hey, let's work on it together, right?
Yes.
If we had those things, and that's what community does, and that's what we're building here.
Hmm.
If we had that in our lives, how important is it? Like, when when that happened, did you automatically get into community? Did you start looking for different communities to join? Like, what was your support system that you built? Because to go through something so to go through something like this, you had to be able to kind of pull some people in. So tell me what that looked like.
So I so when I started my journey in recovery in sobriety, I found myself at a 12-step fellowship meeting. Um, and that was where I found the support and the guidance that I needed to continue on this path of sobriety, because the first thing is that we can't do this alone. I don't think I would have gotten 13 years of sobriety if it weren't for the guidance and the support that I've had from the people that I've created relationships with in that program. Um, I went when I first walked into that room and I sat down, I was broken and I was a mess and it was all over my face. I was crying. And I'll never forget when, they acknowledge, early milestones in your recovery. And they asked if anybody had 24 hours. And I don't know, I very, like, I remember just hearing everything so cloudy. And then I heard that and I just kind of raised my hand and said 72 hours, not really even knowing what the heck was going on. I was kind of just numb. And I got this little coin. And that coin meant the world to me. And when I was done with that, when that meeting ended and I had heard other people share their experiences, I knew I was in the right place, because I identified with so much of the things that I had heard. And people came up to me afterwards and they gave me nothing but love. Women were hugging me and introducing themselves to me and letting me know that I wasn't alone. And I walked into that meeting, like I said, very numb. I was in tears. I was a mess. And when I left, I had hope and I was smiling and I was excited because I was like, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. For the first time, I felt like I belonged. And that was what kept me going. And I started to form relationships and connections. And it is a beautiful program and it costs you nothing. But you go and you help other people and they help you. We have this common bond and we have the same desire. And it's a beautiful thing. And that was really what it was for me, was that. And that just started to open up the doors for me over the years to so many other amazing like-minded people. So I truly believe that you cannot do these things alone. And I would never suggest anybody try, because
Mhm.
you need those people to lift you up. When you feel like you've been knocked down, they're the ones that are helping you get back up and helping you dust yourself off and love you until you can love yourself.
I love that. That's beautiful. I think I was interviewing someone yesterday and they said the same thing. They said that they will continue to pour life into them until they can.
Mm-hmm.
do it themselves, and they're going to guide them a long way. And I just love how, as servant leaders, when we lead with our heart, right, we start with that healing, then we empower someone, then we take action to make the move, then we, the relationship really should come first, but in heart, it's kind of the fourth word.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it goes in that order, but ultimately you're looking for a transformation. And I love that that is your mission, and our mission is for transformation, and everybody wants a change.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to have a life of abundance. I don't know who wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I just want to feel crappy today. I just want to walk around with my attitude. I just want to just punch someone in the face.
You know
No
what?
one does that.
It's so funny that you say that because the other day I woke up. So this is probably the day two that I haven't had a migraine all month. And I woke up, I was at Wednesday morning and I felt awful. And I was on my way to work and I felt so cranky. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm just going to be cranky today. Like, I'm going to just be, unpleasant and cranky. And, I'm going to do my best to not take it out on other people. But however today goes, goes. And I'm just going to stay in it because I believe that we have a choice. Like, most often, if I feel like I'm in a bad mood, I choose to try to change, restart my day, take some deep breaths, restart my day over. But that day, I wanted to choose to be miserable. I got to work, and this is how powerful, like, for me, God can be. I had my first patient. I work full time in dentistry. My first patient looked at me and was just like, "You are so pretty." Now, mind you, my hair was an awful mess. I looked terrible. And they're, "You are so pretty. You are so nice. You're so good." And all these things. And she gave me a hug. The next patient complimented me. The third patient said very similar things and just, you're so good. You make me feel so comfortable, so calm. Thank you so much. And she hugged me. And that was my first time meeting her. And I felt like that was God telling me that I don't have to be moody and miserable. And it was almost like it changed everything for me that day, where I was just like, I don't, I feel better. I feel lighter. And even though I don't feel good, I've just felt better. And I feel like that was God, for my higher power, kind of
Yeah.
just giving me something that I needed that I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah, he was not accepting that for your day. He was like, "Oh,
No.
you want to what? You want to act what today? Oh no, we're not having that. Let me give you some love so that you." And it's not crazy. It's not weird. It's when we are in tune with who we are and what we need, we can see those messages. We can hear those messages. We just have to pay attention
Hmm.
and reflect. That's why journaling is so important, especially with your emotions, right? Like just telling yourself, what are you feeling right now? Who triggered it? Why are you upset? Is it serving you? Just so many things you can ask yourself
Yes.
throughout the day that can totally change your viewpoint of making those choices to say, you know what? I'm not going to be grumpy. Let the world do what it does. And I am just going to embrace every challenge, every barrier, every love, every hello.
Hmm.
So I love that you acknowledged it and you were aware of your surroundings and what the messages were being sent to you and really expressing that. So I don't know if you shared that with anyone, but I'm glad you shared it here because our audience needs to hear this. Like
Yes.
we all need to be reminded.
Yes. I did a post on Facebook about it that day where it was just like, I feel like that sometimes we need to be aware of these messages that we're getting, whether you believe in God or it's the universe for you, whatever you feel is your higher energy or your higher power. There's constantly those messages being brought to you throughout the day. And I feel it's important to just be conscious of that. Like, you know, sometimes we are given what we need when we don't even realize that we need it. And that's huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like when I went to Georgia, I took my son to his first last September to his first men's conference because he had just turned 18. He was interested. And I'm like, okay, you can walk in mama's footsteps. No problem. Let's get you there. But I
Mhm.
was literally like outside, just kind of looking at the area and I seen a squirrel. And the squirrel was like kind of climbing up the hotel and it
Mhm.
was like going on a bridge. And I did like a whole TikTok video because what I felt I was being told was that you're going to continue to rise through all of this. So it was just such a beautiful thing how nature, how earth, how just our universe as a whole can tell us something that we absolutely need to hear. We just got to be aware of it. Um, Oh my God, this has been absolutely phenomenal. We're going to take a quick break, listen to our sponsors, and then we're going to come back with Lori and pick her brain about some other things she's working on. And we'll be right back.
All right.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Hello, hello. Welcome back. We are with Lori from New York. She will be at our Warrior Women BALM Global Conference June 1st, Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., where we'll be having workshops. We'll have 17 speakers that's going to bring you some amazing, amazing stories, impact, and the tools that you need to move ahead. So let's just jump right into it. How did you hear about this event? How did you connect with Desiree? Tell us a little bit about that story.
So I met Desiree at an expo out in Rochester. It was the Influential Women Entrepreneur Expo. Um, and so I was there. Was a vendor, had a table, and she came over to my table and we started to talk. And we talked very briefly because she was about to go on stage, and she told me about the event and felt that I needed to be present in that room somehow, whether if it was just as a guest there listening to the amazing speakers who I'm really excited to connect with, um, the other women, the workshops, the whole nine. And I did express interest in, if you need another speaker, anything like that, I'd love to be able to talk to you about that. I'd love the opportunity. um, and needless to say, a VIP spot became available kind of last minute, and she contacted me, I believe, maybe a day or two later, and she um, asked me to be a part of it. And I immediately said yes. I really was just like, again, God working for me, and for I think Desiree as a whole, like we were just like we were meant to connect. We were meant to, you know, be a part of this together. Um, and it's amazing because I actually sat back after I talked to her and I almost I had tears welling up in my eyes, and I was just like, I was texting with my mom and I'm like, Mom, my dreams are no longer dreams. They're real. And I'm like,
Chills, chills,
and I'm
chills.
like, oh my God, my dreams are coming true. Like things that I thought were, you know, arm's length away or further are literally right here in front of me. And I took this moment where it was just like, it's real. This is
It's
real.
really happening.
It's really
Absolutely.
happening. And it's beautiful. When you don't stop and you keep working toward your dreams, they do become a reality.
Absolutely. That's consistency. That's persistence. That's just pure. I'm gonna make a difference. Not I want to, but I'm gonna make a difference, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. And when you said that, you just gave me chills because I literally just celebrated a 2-year anniversary with entering into my first speaking competition on May 14th. And then that was my first ever event that I had attended with my son. Um, in this space, in what I always wanted to do, and then meeting the community that I had asked for, right? When you went back and said that God was giving you signs, well, I had asked God that year. I had just turned 40. I had asked God for you for that year to bring me community, a community that I can serve and can serve that can serve me back. And let me tell you, when it rained, it poured. He sent the masses. So it's like, okay, this is what you asked for. What are you going to do with it? And I just nurtured every and each relationship that a year later from that event, I was able to host my event, which, sorry, do not disturb, does not work. And it's totally fine. It's not the first time and it won't be the last. Um, but um, Yeah, so and that's the video that you just seen, a little clip of my first event that I was able to do. And Lori, you are well on your way to be hosting your event as well, because I believe that you have massive impact to do as you are
Mhm.
speaking, as we are listening to your story and what you have overcame. Tell us a little bit about that mindset that, how do you maintain a positive and resilient mindset, especially through the challenges and situations that you have faced and you may continue to face?
Well, the one thing I have to say is that when things are a challenge and things are not necessarily okay, I take a moment to, and I call it embracing the suck. Like, it's
I love it.
not, right? Like, I'm embracing the suck right now because this is the thing. Like, it, you can't be, it's okay if you're not positive all the time, in the sense that you don't have to sit there and, like, for me, when things are rough, being like, it's not, everything's okay, everything's perfect, everything's fine, because that's not healthy. So taking that time to be like, okay, things are rough right now, things are hard, how can I navigate through it? This is my problem, what's the solution? And I try to look at the solution and work the solution rather than working the problem. And I believe, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point where anytime something is a challenge, I remind myself that I'm learning something here. There is a lesson here. God, what are you trying to teach me? And I always end up eventually, I might not hear it right away, hearing what that lesson is. Um, Recently I had, something had come up with my place of employment. Things were a little bit questionable based on, uh, he's a little bit older. He wants to cut back. Is he going to cut back staff? Things to that nature. And it was a very challenging time for me. And I started to find myself going into this rabbit hole of, like, a negative mindset, feeling like I was being victimized. And I had to stop and remind myself, okay, I was on my way to work one day and I'm like, okay, this isn't happening to me. This is happening for me. What am I supposed to learn here? And I learned to get back in touch with my resilience and to trust that no matter what, everything is going to be okay. Just suit up, show up, do your best damn job, and everything will work out the way it's supposed to. Regardless, I will be okay in the end. And everything ended up being okay. Things are, that I love my office. I love the people I work with. I'm grateful that things are still going in a very positive direction. And everything ended up being okay. And reminding myself, and that's one of those things I look at and say, I don't have to worry. Like, worrying does me no good. Getting put in that place of being negative and this is happening to me, and victim, victim, victim.
Yeah.
A lot of times these things are happening for you because there's something that you're supposed to learn. So it's like it got me in touch with that resilience, but it also helped me figure out, because I was still fairly new, what I needed to do to learn more, to get myself in a place where not only was I secure there, but it was more or less just that I earned my spot to be a part of that team, because it is a team that you want to be a part of if you're in the dental field. They're amazing people, and the doctor I work for is amazing, and to have that opportunity, regardless if I stay in dentistry or not in the future, right now this is where I am and this is where I want to be. So I just have to remember that there are lessons to be learned, and I just have to keep in tune with that. And that keeps me in that positive place. And if I start, like I said, if I start to go into that negative space, a lot of times I have to turn to God. I have to turn to somebody and talk to them about it. Therapist, coach, and work through it to keep myself where I want to be. Positive affirmations. I love them. In fact, I utilize them a lot, and I share a lot of them. I believe that positive affirmations are a wonderful tool to retrain your brain from a negative place to a positive place.
Absolutely. And that can happen in a moment if you really have other tools and you really want that to happen in your life. So I love that they're just easily accessible. And I love that um you express that with every problem there's a solution. Let's just find it, right? And I used to say that all the time when I worked in corporate, where my managers were like, oh my goodness, Nikki, like how can you have a smile in your face and just be okay? And we have all these things due by Friday. And I'm like, dude, relax. Like, what needs to get done? Where are they housed? Send them over. We'll look at them and we'll get them done. Like, if
Mhm.
we spend time on us potentially not hitting our deadline, then we are wasting time
Yeah.
at this point. So
Yeah.
it's like just grab the data of what we have. Let's analyze it. Let's put a summary to it and let's submit it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I love that you share that. And I'm glad that everything worked out, because in the most uncertain time is when we start putting up those walls. That's when the belief kind of goes out the window and say, well, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? We start getting into that victim mentality,
Mhm.
as you were stating, but it is a lesson. It is a lesson to learn. Everything happens for us for a reason. And we're not, and you just like you said, we're not going to have the answers instantaneously. It will come when it's supposed to, when you're supposed to have that aha moment and do your reflection. That's why, again, if we reflect more often, we may get answers sooner. So being still and surrendering our thoughts or our negativity to the fact that belief is in control, right? Um, we would be in such a better place. Not that we would be perfect, because we will never be perfect. We're still going to run through those challenges. And I love the way Desiree says that's when our shields come up.
Yes.
In life, you have to expect it.
Mhm.
Expect that the barriers, the challenges, the doubt, all of that is going to come into your life. But when you build that resistance ahead of time, it's really hard for them to knock you down.
Yeah.
They might try, they might get really close, but because you are equipped, you will be ready for anything. It
Ex-
has been absolutely phenomenal, Lori. What do you do? What's your business, your service, um and how can people get a hold of you?
So I am an empowerment coach for women, as you mentioned. So what I do is I work with women on helping them move through fear, overcome fear, taking their fear, turning it into their power, building confidence, finding their self-worth. Healing is a big part of that. Looking at the, things in your past that have caused pain or trauma or have caused you to feel limited and believe that, you are not worthy of whatever it is your passions or dreams are. Helping women get out of a place of feeling stuck. Whether it's even in, I have a lot of women that'll come to me, I want to lose 15 pounds. And then we discover that there's so much more involved in that, and we work through it. Some people, I work with women who have battled alcoholism. A lot of it is things that I've experienced myself. After I got sober, I became obese. I was almost 300 pounds by the time I was 34 years old, and I decided I needed to make a change. And I utilize that too to be able to help other people in their journey. I'm certified in holistic health and wellness, and as well as insight coach and a transformation life coach. And I kind of incorporated it all into this one great big whole empowerment package, and working with women and helping them believe in themselves. It's such a beautiful gift. And I'm so grateful that I was put on this path to be able to help women get there. I also have a podcast myself. It is available it's not on YouTube yet. It's audio, and it's on all platforms. It's called She Thrives Influential Women Podcast. You can find it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And I love to go on and, share my journey, share my experiences and ways to help women overcome, where they might be at. And I also like to do episodes every once in a while. I'm going to be actually posting my second affirmations episode, because I think it's important to be able to have that accessibility to things where you can sit down and just repeat to yourself. It's a new podcast. I am actually only have 7 episodes at this point, and just keeps growing. Again, She Thrives Influential Women Podcast. And eventually I will be having women like Nikki. I would love to have her as a guest and bring it onto YouTube. So it's growing, and I believe in its message, and I believe in what it can offer to other women. So I'm really excited for the direction of that. I also have a few published articles on medium.com, which is a platform where writers can go and share articles on all different types of things. If you want to know about crypto, you can find articles on crypto, health and wellness, mindset. You can find me at Lori Murphy. I'm on that platform. I have a few articles up on there. But essentially, if you want to contact me, you can find me on Facebook under Lori A. Murphy, Empowerment Coach for Women. TikTok, Lori A. Murphy. I am on Instagram under Lori Murphy Coaching, and LinkedIn at Lori Murphy.
Awesome. Amazing. And we will definitely have your links in the show notes for sure. It has been absolutely phenomenal. Definitely connect with Lori. I can't wait till I see you next weekend. I can't believe it's almost here. It's going to be so impactful, so powerful.
Very
And
exciting.
when you're ready to get it on YouTube, just let me know and we'll have a chat about that.
Yes.
So super exciting. Now, you've been talking about these affirmations, and I kind of want you to close us out with one affirmation that it's a non-negotiable for you. It's something that gets you either through the day, through a struggle, one that you want to share, and just give us a little tidbit on why that one is so meaningful for you.
One of my favorite ones is I am capable. And I believe that is so powerful for me, because there were so many years from my youth into my early adulthood where I didn't believe I was capable. I didn't believe that I was capable of amounting to anything. I thought where I was where I was going to stay, because I didn't believe that I was worthy of anything else, or like I said, capable, because I really truly believed, because somewhere along the way I was told that I wasn't smart enough, that I wasn't good enough, that I would never amount to anything, and that I wasn't capable. And my brain stored that as information, and I believed that that was my truth. And
Wow.
that is far from the truth.
Wow.
Because I am
That's
capable.
as, yes, absolutely. That is just as simplest as it gets. And what I found is when taking action is the only time that you know how capable you are.
Mhm.
How capable you'll find out that you're capable of things that you wouldn't even imagine. You wouldn't even think. And this is just walking testimonies, Nikki and Lori right here. I share a little bit of your story with the relationship and just really living for someone else and not living for yourself,
Mhm.
and really not having that identity until you find that identity, right?
Yes.
Until you love yourself, until you say, you know what? It's about me and how I am going to live in my purpose on purpose. And thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, I wouldn't know that I would be a podcaster, didn't
Right.
know that I would be speaking on stages, joining communities with just amazing entrepreneurs doing amazing things. You are capable. Confirm that, as Lori has shared with us today. You are capable. Thank you so much for your story, for your time, for your energy. It has been absolutely phenomenal getting to know you. And to
Thank
all our
you.
listeners, definitely check out Lori A. Murphy on Facebook, because that's where I have you at. And then we'll have her handles. And you have a great and wonderful day. And thank
Thank you
you
so much. Thank
for
you.
tuning. Thank you for tuning into another episode. And as I always say, make it count.
Bye.